How's everybody doing? Alfred Flores, CEO, President of New Age Electric. Okay, so on our previous tutorial on creating the sort codes and the creating your own custom change orders within Accubid Classic Pro, I got some emails about the appearances of the reporting style. Like, what's the difference between like a screen style and report styles? And it is kind of confusing. I blew through it really quick. I'm just gonna make a tutorial on this one of explaining the differences and how to manipulate it to kind of get an outcome. The two are kind of really different. A lot of people don't really play with it. One is, in my opinion, it's not useful at all unless you're trying to hide something. And the other one is when you print stuff and what you want to see and what you don't want to see. So we're going to jump into it. We're going to see how this works. Okay, so if you notice up here, you should have two icons. One that looks like a screen with a pencil in it. That is your screen style setup. Now, what your screen style setup means is everything that you see in here is part of your screen style. If you click a takeoff, this is a screen style. You can control what you want to see on here. For every single tab, things will disappear unless you don't want to see them, and it's very simple. I don't know a reason why to use this feature, but I'll show you how to use it. You simply click on this button, screen style setup, right? You can add new ones. You can make all custom styles. I got a couple ones that I do myself here. So what this section means, columns in the style. This is essentially every single tab that you see down here, that you can remove stuff. If you don't want to see it, you can take it out. So let's see, for instance, let's do something that's kind of got a lot. So we could say, subcontractor. So let me go to the subcontractor screen, right? We're going to hit this right here. And I'm doing this so you could see what these display down here, what they actually represent. So if I click subcontractors, you're going to see these. They're basically like tabs for each one. You're going to see subcontractor here, subcontractor there, alarm, cost, and so forth. Now that I think about it, if you got something set up and you really don't want to see it, and I can maybe understand some of these, but some of them I really don't know why you would want to hide them. But maybe like type, code, maybe a tax percentage, overhead percentage, certain things that you don't want somebody to enter in the stuff because you only want to do that in the final pricing tab or some other logic that you might have. But let's say, for instance, we didn't want to see the adjustment percentage. You click this button to remove it over. Click it again. We don't want to see the adjustment money, the adjustment cost. Let's say the notes, and we'll do the code and the type. All right. So now these are all under this section, subcontractors. You click them, you get to see them. If you want to add them back, simply hit add. If you want to add them all, simply hit all. Vice versa over here. If you click this, you can hit remove all and then kind of work backwards. Once this is done and you're satisfied what you want to see, hit OK. And then once we hit OK, you're going to see the columns that we did are going to be removed. So hit OK. And then there you go. The screen adjusted to what you told it to want to be removed. And that's it. It's as simple as that. That's what screen style is all about. You can come back in here anytime. You can change this. You can maybe create a new one. Call it your company's new estimate and hit OK, and then you could just start taking off things that you don't want, your estimators to play with. And you want to make sure that they're not hiding things in different categories and whatever the case may be. That's where you would do it in here. So that's screen style setup. It's very basic. There is some features that I can see that kind of advantage, and I mean you can come over here and be like, okay, I don't want them to enter no subcontractors in whatsoever. I can click this and I want to remove all, and I think I messed that up. It removed the whole thing. Remove all is everything that you select. So I'm gonna put add all back in here. Let's go to subcontractors. I believe you can just click, hold shift. I thought you can hold all of it. I guess not. And I'll keep in mind, you can always drag and drop and move stuff here if you're not aware about that. Let's just say you want to move all of these. I thought there was a way to do it. And you can freeze columns too if you don't want nobody to touch it. If you freeze it, it gets like a pin in there so you can't move it. Sorry, I should have probably said that first. You can reset the order. So I reset the order now, and subcontractors alarm, everything got reset. So let's say I didn't want to see anything, and it's really cool. You can actually remove everything. The whole screen is blank. So you could just remove all, and then pretty much your subcontractor is gone now. So if I hit OK, this entire screen is going to be blank. It's fascinating. I don't know why it's there, but hey, maybe you don't want your estimators doing that. Company decision, totally up to you. So, like I said, you can remove all, add it all back, hit OK, and it's all there. So that is screen setup. Now, the most difficult part, and that is your view using report style. Now, it's difficult because there is no view, meaning you can't view what you're doing as you're going. Now I'm going to explain this. So also, before I continue, you can switch these around. So if you have something set up that's called screen style setup, you can click this one and it will change it to however your reporting style setup is. Now, the reason why I said that there was no viewing option is when you set this all up, when you set up each one of these particular tabs here, there is no way to take it off from a specific section, just like we did, and then view it, because the fact that you have to go to every single tab and check what you're doing here. That's the difficult part of doing this. So we're gonna go back to an extension. I'm gonna show you. I got some tools plugged in here, nothing biggie. When I hit viewing styles, you're gonna see there's things that are changed. There's more of these tabs up here. Weight, condition. There's stuff that's I put that I don't want to see in that particular screen style. If you don't do it, you're gonna have this bar down here, and you're gonna have tons of things that it's up to you. I just like to see everything. I don't want to see short codes 5, 7, and 8 and 1, 2. I don't use them, so I would like to just see everything on one screen only. That way I'm not having to go like this if I need to see something. That being said, you still can move things over like I showed you. You can rearrange the order of things. If you want, if you don't want the date to be here, you can move the date, to over here. It's whatever your heart desires. Getting off topic. So we're going to hit view using report styles. I'm sorry, settings, report styles. This is where you basically you set it up. So report elements are they call them elements. I'm just gonna call them tabs because it's just easier to reference that. It's what you're gonna see when you print. Now, it's two different ways. If you don't want to see this particular tab at all, you just uncheck it. You don't want to see notes, just uncheck it. This goes for every single one. The reason behind that is if you don't want to see it at all and it's basically useless, you could just move it. Not that being said that you could still do it in here, but it's easier to control in here if you don't want to do these at all. It's very simple, but this is what that means. This is basically how you're going to report it when you're going to print it out. You want to see everything in those tabs, which will appear. Now here's the hard part. Now the column setup. Column setups. What this is every section is going to print out. So if I hit the job info, everything in the job info is going to print out because there is no like subsections under that. Now before I'm going to jump into this, there are these things you're going to see. Page break. Almost everyone should have a page break section, and we're going to leave this one open because it actually has both, and I believe there's 3 of them or 4 of them in here. Okay, let's stick with this one. Okay, print headings. Headings is just, it's showing you what the description is of that category. So if you're doing material, I believe it's going to say description, quantity, date. That's print headings. Print blank lines. If you got anything blank, that prints. Prints totals. It gives you the totals that you see here on the bottom. Page break. Just like a Word document, once this particular items are shown and it only fills up half the page, it's going to break that page into the next page to show you the next available columns in the style. It's just like Microsoft Word. If you wanted to end the section, you jump to the next page. That's exactly what that means. Okay, so in this case, we're going to say we want the job info. We're going to not hit page break. Notes, we want to do all the notes. If I just disregard that, but yes, if you want to print everything in there, you can print break lines, you can print the page break. I'm just gonna not click this for right now. The designations, if you want that to print, it's description, status, and quantities. After designations, there is the audit trail. Now, if you don't know what the audit trail is, it's basically how you took it off in order. If you deleted anything, it will show up as being deleted, and I print it. Basically, this how it looks right now, so you can see as a PDF. And just so you know what the audit screen is going to look like, it's just basically showing, that one takeoff with everything in there and the quantities. And if there's things that are deleted, there's like an F1 I did. The F1 fixture was deleted. And as you go, and things that are not deleted, they are still in the job itself. So these are all on the job. All right, the next section over is going to be the extension breakdown view. And that is going to be the description, breakdown factor, material total, material percentage, labor hours, and labor percentage. So you're going to have 3 different ones here. There's an extension unit view. which tells you that there's 3 different views that you can do for your extension itself. You could do a breakdown view, a unit price, consolidated items, and item browse. The one that you normally would see in the default is the extension consolidated items. And in that one is where you adjust what you want to see. And as you can tell, it's got every single thing here. So if you don't want to see something when you're printing it out, simply click it and remove it over, and then keep going after each one. Direct labor, it's this tab right here. So if you're not following along, the extension is this whole extension. The audit trail is basically your takeoff, and it'll be per tab as you go. Incidental labor, labor factoring, labor escalation, indirect labor, your subcontractors, your general expenses, your equipment, your quoted materials, your final pricing, key indicators, your breakdown, the graph, and the QPad. So we're actually going to move this over to put the key indicators in there too. So yes, that is basically how report style set up. It's not difficult at it is difficult at first. It really is. This is really confusing. It took many people a long time to figure this out, and like any other software, it's intimidating. You don't know where to go, you don't know what things do. You press something, you freak out, and you just say, "Oh, I don't know what I did. I'm closing the program." We're all guilty of that. But yeah, it's not that difficult once you play around with it. You see that these reset orders are here. If you ever want to play around with it, just go hit add, and then just simply put test. And then you just want to use the default style or play around with something here. But it's better to use the default style so you get everything in there. You hit test and have at it. Start playing around with it. And yeah, if anybody ever asks you that you need to see something, can you print it, send it over? Or, I don't have Change Order Pro. How do I do this? It's not that hard. And if you don't want them to see certain things, you can always come in here and take it out and do a print preview. I'll jump back over into the setup, PDF setup where I got. And basically, if you don't do nothing to it, this is exactly what you're going to get. This is a default. It's just everything printed out to PDF. It's just going to show you breakdowns. A lot of the stuff is repetitive until you start getting into like the labor factoring, incidental, stuff like this. I got $100 an hour for mobilization, some site drawings, then your final pricing, how things are broken out, database material, and you start coming down to here, you start seeing different systems, and a lot of this stuff is just, it's repetitive, it just looks different. Hours and it's just, you have to go through here and start looking at things. This is a template that comes with it, and again, this is I believe this is the QPad, if I remember right. Yes, this should be the QPad. That is the last one on here. Yes, it is. And this is all stuff that's built into the program. Just tells you everything on here, line for line. I kind of took my time on this one. Oh, and there's two more tabs. These are, I probably already spoke upon this on the last video. You can change your specific font style and size just for the report only, and this is basically just like Word. There's probably almost 100 different fonts here. You can put everything in bold, italic, bold, italic, size, whatever the case may be. This is only saved to that style, so if you drop it down, it's completely going to change again. And then page setup. So we could spend a few minutes on this one. It's self-explanatory. I think I talked about it a lot in the last one too, but you know, your header itself, if you click these, it's obviously going to put the date, the time, the page number, and the line. So if we go back into here, you're going to see that if I zoom in, it's basically copying everything over. That is the job name, job number, and whatever you call it. And then there's the dates, the time, the page number. Those are those 1, 2, 3, 4. And this one has date, time, and page number, and line. And then the line is right there. So that's basically that's the 4 things here. The header itself, if you see that particular thing right there, that means it's linked to wherever the job info is in the side. So job name, whatever you actually put in the job info, that will come up as there. Job name itself, if it's not in that itself, it's just going to print out job name. So you can erase that, and this will put it in automatically. You can erase job number if you didn't want to say job number. It's up to you. I mean, it's pretty good. Footer itself, you can put the exact same thing info in here. Now you can orientate this 2 different ways, in a portrait mode and a landscape mode. Totally up to you. I found it a little easier to put stuff in landscape. I get to show a whole lot more going one left to right because of the items in the extension. Sometimes it's, if you don't want to show too much info and you might want to increase the font size, at least it's not going to stretch over into another page and eat up more more of your free space. So landscape works out pretty well. General probably might not like it, but portrait, it's okay. You just got to mess with it for a while. Margins, if you want custom margins, if you want to go beyond the margins, you can always play with this too. Right out the box, it's fine. I mean, I don't have any issues with that. Keep in mind, if you play with this, whoever's printing it too, it's not going to print correctly if you print outside of the margins, if that person's printer is not set up like that. So it's fine like that. 0.25 from the left, from the top, from the right and the bottom, I think that's okay. If you want to do a custom logo, so your company logo, you can choose to have it on all the pages, first page only. Just fine wherever you store it. Keep in mind, this works as a path, just like Windows. If you move the path, it's going to disappear. So my suggestion, save it on your network and call it company logos. Most companies probably got that already, but if you're by yourself and you're trying to do something on your own, save it where somebody is not going to touch it, because once it's gone, the path is gone. You have to redo this all over again. It's not hard, but the problem is the size. You got to make sure the size. If you can find that exact file again, you're in the clear. If not, and you have to create something brand new again, you will have to play with the width and the height all over again. So I'm going to pause it. I'm going to show you really quick. I'm going to show you exactly how to do this. So I'm going to show you exactly how to do this. So I'm going to pause it. I'm going to show you really quick. I'm going to pause it. I'm going to show you exactly how to do this. So I'm going to pause it. I'm going to show you really quick. I'm going to pause it. I'm going to show you exactly how to do this. So I'm going to pause it. I'm going to show you really quick. I'm going to pause it. I'm going to show you exactly how to do this. So I'm going to pause it. I'm going to show you really quick. I'm going to pause it. I'm going to show you exactly how to do this. So I'm going to pause it. I'm going to show you really quick. I'm going to pause it. I'm going to show you exactly how to do this. So I'm going to pause it. I'm going to show you really quick. I'm going to pause it. I'm going to show you exactly how to do this. So I'm going to pause it. I'm going to show you really quick. I'm going to pause it. I'm going to show you exactly how to do this. So I'm going to pause it. I'm going to show you really quick. I'm going to pause it. I'm going to show you exactly how to do this. So I'm going to pause it. I'm going to show you really about the logos and how to place them and how it works. Okay, so I grabbed one of my logos. I called it Accubid logo. So it's um, just a logo itself. And when you print this, it's going to tell you that 0.5, your position at 0.5 from the top, which I believe that is going to overlap on the header, and you got a header there. So I believe you can put it anything 0.3, and I think it's going to overlap still, so you might need 0.5 or so. And then to the left, and we'll show you how this looks. We're going to hit OK. We're going to go to print preview, hit OK. This should pop up right here. Give it a second because there's a lot of information. So okay, so wherever it is, it's not showing up at all. Okay, so that means we must have did something wrong. Let me go back. Settings, report styles, page setup. Alright, maybe it might be too small, so let me check this. I haven't did this in a while. Let's do 5. And when you, I would always maintain proportion. Change the width or one of these only. It'll automatically adjust. That way it's proportional and it doesn't look stretched out or whatnot. Let's move the left. Maybe that's what it is. Let's move this over. Let's put this at 1. Let's do all pages. Alright, let's see. Print preview, hit OK. It should come out now. Huh. It's not coming out. Okay, I had to pause for a second and gather my thoughts. Alright, so what happened was that when I went to hit print, this particular was set up to test, and it's not in that screen style. So that's, I'm sorry, in the view reporting style. That's why it wasn't showing up. Make sure it's whatever you're assigned to, that's what you got to be under, and that's what happened. I was under default. I wasn't under default style, so it wasn't printing at all. Alright, so you hit OK, default style, and then I'll show you what happens when you don't adjust nothing and you just add your logo. Okay, so you see the logo is behind the header itself. Once you start moving this logo around and increasing the height, whatever the one tab is next, this will start to move down. So if I get close, I'm gonna hit settings, report styles, page setup. So we're gonna increase our logo to 5. It's gonna be fairly pretty big now. We're gonna go to 1, and then let's say we want to be in the middle of the screen. That might be like a 3, or yeah, it might be a 3. So let's check. And this is what I was saying. It's time consuming because you can't see what you're doing. You have to keep hitting print preview to see where you're at. So okay, so you notice that the logo, I moved it more down, so you could move it up to kind of be a little bit above this line break right there, and then you can move it over to center it, or if you want to move it over to the right. But as you notice that everything is like almost 2 lines or 3 lines, everything is being dropped, and then it starts to go in order. So that's how you do a logo. You could put anything in there. I believe it does. It's JPEG, the .bmp files, and I think it's PNG files as well too. Yep. Okay, so that concludes reporting styles and view styles. Yeah, keep dropping emails. If you guys have any other questions or you want to see something particular, don't be shy. I can show anything. Everything's anonymous unless you want to shout out your company and give you guys a demonstration of what you want to see. You could test my knowledge of the program too. There's so many things that you can do in here that, I mean, maybe there's things that I don't even know. I also know the database very well. If you want to do things in the database you don't know how to do, set up, I can demonstrate that as well too. But yeah, keep the emails coming. And once again, this is Alfred Flores, CEO, President of New Age Electric. See you again. Thank you for watching.